Everybody! Vince McMahon loves big sweaty men. Vince McMahon loves big sweaty men. Vince McMahon loves big sweaty men. Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe are proving Vinnie Mac's time-honored penchant for big sweaty men with more peaks than Everest and no discernible talent between the ropes has cost him more than a couple of stars down the years. If Vince paid attention to us big lads with less muscle than a normal main eventer but less body fat percentage than a Viscera or a Rikishi, a Fairview embarrassments would never have seen the light of day. I'm King Ross from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 times Vince McMahon loved big sweaty men for the sake of loving big sweaty men. Number 10, Jinder Mahal. Jinder's JBL-flavoured journey from jobber to main eventer with absolutely no backstory proves that having a roadmap on each of your biceps is still a very viable way to Vince McMahon's heart. Hardbody Mahal's push isn't without reason though, as WWE looks to exploit the Indian market. However, the fact he was released when his body wasn't so veiny proves there is still a bit of Vince that will only look twice when he's poked directly in the eye with a raging shoulder boulder or two. I don't think the modern day Maharaja would be enjoying the success he is today without going through the radical change in his appearance. Number 9, Heidenreich. Big Johnny with the muscle gut had poems for days. He also had size and perspiration too. 6 foot 8 inches and 319 pounds of psychopath saw him push to levels his skill set simply couldn't live up to. This quintessential big sweaty man, both mentally and physically, was shunted into a program with The Undertaker not long after a brief call-up where this Big Johnny was controlled by a little Johnny. Yes, really. Even Undertaker, who would have had considerable pull by the time 2004 rolled around, surely wouldn't have wanted to work with Heidenreich, making the call to put him in the role all the more perplexing. Number 8, Nathan Jones. The greenest superstar to appear on Vince McMahon's television shows without the use of paint or hair dye, Nathan Jones had a tremendous upside in terms of his backstory. Jones was legitimately involved in a number of armed robberies in the mid-1980s and was legitimately one of the most wanted men in the land of Down Under and legitimately even spent time in a maximum security prison. But don't let this distract you from the fact that he couldn't wrestle his way out of a paper bag, and believe me, that's really easy. Not being able to wrestle isn't the best shortcoming to have when you do the wrestling for the biggest wrestling company in the world. No amount of mass or excreta, and believe me, he had a lot of that standing at 6'11" with 335 pounds behind him, could prevent Vince from getting cold feet in the build-up to WrestleMania 19 when he turned what was going to be a tag match between Jones, Undertaker, Big Show and A-Train into a handicap match with all Bugger Red at a disadvantage. Number 7, Snitzky. You remember Gene, right? He's the bloke who rocked up on Raw and in his first match hit Kane from behind with a chair, causing a big red machine to fall onto Lita, who in turn miscarried her unborn child. Ha 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 ha! 2004. Snitzky is a prime example of a big sweaty man who lost the love and affections of Vince McMahon when somebody snuck up behind him and let the air out of him. It's no coinky-dink that Gene's demotion down the card coincided with a dramatic change in his appearance. He would lose the muscle Vince loved so dearly in a change that saw the 6'8", 296-pound behemoth turn into nothing more than a lump of dough. While he wasn't identified as a client of Signature Pharmacy, he was suspended for 30 days for his first violation of the company's wellness policy in 2007. If you're going to be a big sweaty man that Vince falls in love with, the moral of this story shows that you better be a clean one. Number 6, Mason Ryan. A big sweaty man in Gladiators. Professional wrestler Mason Ryan, yes, he was wrestling before he was famous. Appearances in Gladiators caught the eye of Vince McMahon, who signed the Welshman to an unprecedented 5-year deal in 2009. 5 years, all for muscles, unbelievable. After 1 year down in FCW, Ryan was up on the main roster as the new big bad lad of the new Nexus, fast-tracked into what was the hot-ish angle on TV at the time. An 18-month love affair between Vince and Mason's glistening bums came to an end after he was passed around the roster in a number of feuds, experienced a high of being part of Team Orton at Survivor Series before the low of a demotion to NXT. The length of Mason's run may lead you to believe that Vince McMahon was not actually in love with this big sweaty man. However, the accommodations boss man Vin made, plus Mason's accomplishments in such a short space of time, prove muscles alone can get you places. Number 5, the Warlord. Kevin Nash tells an endearing story where Warlord is looking for someone to inject steroids in his arse. The thankless task was given to Shawn Michaels, who, despite trying to force a needle in with all his might, told the man from parts unknown, "I think you're full." Warlord's size wasn't natural, but that was only symptomatic of Vince McMahon's land of the big and sweaty of the 80s and early 90s. You didn't need the ability to wrestle, all you needed was muscle. Warlord, bless his silly little half helmet, didn't have any modicum of mobility or flexibility, but he could lift the moon. Huzzah! The Hour of Pain member was just trying to swim in a sea full of massive sweaty sharks, but while doing so became one of those men who gained notoriety down to his physique and nothing else. That's okay when you're in a tag team and you can hide behind your partner during the matches, but when the Warlord was cast off on his lonesome, Vince McMahon soon fell out of love with his size. Number 4, Brackus. Brackus was a big sweaty German, and that's all there is to say about that. Brackus' first run for Vince McMahon flopped. He was then farmed out to ECW, where he would cover his defeated opponents with a WWF flag before returning to the motherland with his revolutionary gimmick, something that would blow the bloody doors off every home around the world. Wait for it! Chainmail. That was his new gimmick. The fact that Vince McMahon would give this gimmickless, charismaless, talentless meathead 2 bites at the proverbial cherry undeniably proves his love for manly lumps. Number 3, the Great Khali. Don't let Jinder Mahal citing the Great Khali as his hero on a recent episode of SmackDown distract you from the fact that the Great Khali was the absolute drizzling shits. Fucking hell, this man pinned The Undertaker with a foot on the chest. Burn that image, burn it now with fire. Poor old Taker Chops was tasked with getting yet another big sweaty man over when Khali debuted in 2006, which leaves me asking one question. What ungodly thing did Taker do to Vince McMahon to deserve all of this time and time again? Vinnie Mac tried to have the perspiring Punjabi dominate the dead man like no other big sweaty man we'd seen up to this point. But it didn't work because he was the absolute drizzling shits, and oh my god, there it is again. You name every top superstar from 06 to 08 and Khali had beat them all with aplomb. He even won the vacant World Heavyweight Championship in a battle royal where he eliminated Batista and Kane, fellow sweaty men I'm sure you agree, in one move. The perks you get with being bigger and sweatier than anything we've ever seen before are staggering. Number 2, Zeus. Zeus is the worst of all the big sweaty men. It's an utter travesty that he was presented as a viable threat to arguably the greatest of all the big sweaty men, Hulk Hogan. After starring in No Holds Barred opposite the Hulkster, Zeus appeared in WWF for an angle that was spun off the film. Jealous that he'd been built below him in the film, Zeus wanted to prove that he was better than Hogan in real life. Spare me. Yes, the part in the film was the reason he made it to the dance in the first place, but the fact that he stood at 6'5", weighed 310 pounds, and was cast as a destroyer despite the fact he couldn't actually destroy anything means he's worthy of a place on this list. The worst part of it all, that it wasn't just Vince McMahon who loved this big sweaty man, as WCW brought him back in 1996 as part of the alliance to end Hulkamania. Somebody hold me. And number 1, Giant Gonzalez. The late Giant Gonzalez was billed at 8 feet tall, and you can't tell me that being inside that bodysuit, groin hair and all, while doing any kind of physical activity, didn't make him the sweatiest big man of all time. Harvey Whippleman's big sweaty man made his WWF debut at the 1993 Royal Rumble, eliminating The Undertaker despite not being in the match. This set up a massive sweaty meeting between the pair at WrestleMania 9, where Taker won by DQ, meaning that up until Brock Lesnar's win at WrestleMania 30, Gonzalez was the only man the dead man didn't record a conclusive victory over, a mantle his ability simply did not deserve. And I tell you what, I'm only 5'11". I wish I was taller, you know.
Hello, it's Jack here, lead singer of acclaimed covers band American Rachel. I did not write this script, and I'm here to test your wrestling knowledge today. Are you ready? Guess the theme tune that I'm about to hum. And so on and so on. Did you get it? Oh, cool. Sorry, D. For those of you who didn't get it, it was the Nexus's theme tune. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. For more theme tunes and awesome fun too, buy the new What Culture Wrestling trivia game, available at shop.whatculture.com.